Thank you for joining me for the Vampire Talk Show. I'm your host, Valaine. Val to my friends. My roommate discovered my coffin under the concrete floor of the basement in her new house and woke me up from a 100-year nap. Now I'm reconnecting with old friends, making new ones, and of course, making a podcast. We have an ooky spooky Halloween special show for you tonight, but first, I want to talk about tarot cards. Yes, tarot. Halloween is a time of divination, of seeking answers to your future, and one of those ways is with a tarot deck. Now, I do read tarot, and actually, my Patreon members get tarot readings occasionally. If you're part of the Tarot Speakeasy, you get a tarot reading every month. Shameless plug, why not? It's Halloween. This is actually being recorded on Halloween night, for reasons you are going to get into later. Anyway, so when it comes to tarot, I just like to put out a disclaimer. Tarot is a nice way to reorganize the way you think. It's a really nice synchronicity machine. And sometimes it can be very poignant, it can be moving, it can be quite helpful in figuring out a situation that you might be in. However, I do like to stress that when it comes to divination, please don't make any major life decisions based on those things. It's just not a good idea. First of all, if you're getting your tarot read by someone and they say that you should do some sort of major life decision based on the cards that they have pulled for you, maybe not go to that person anymore, or trust them really that much. I don't think any good tarot reader is going to say, hey, you should, divorce your husband, pull up roots, and, become a showgirl in Vegas, If that's what you're thinking about doing already, then good for you, but I'm just saying, take everything with a grain of salt, especially when it comes to tarot readings. When I read tarot, I like to make sure that people know that I'm not there to tell them the future. I'm there to basically hold up an ink blot and then you tell me what you see. And I can tell you in the symbolism what I see. There is some intuition to it, I feel. I always say that it's about 80-20, 80 ink blot and 20 intuition, because there are certain things that jump out right away when looking at tarot for certain people, and then for other people, there might not be much said on a card. So, just keep that in mind while you're divining this Halloween night, or this season of Halloween, anyway. Anyway, I digress. Tonight's guest is a very special friend of mine. We go way back. Please welcome to the show. You might know him as Jack O'Lantern, but his real name is Stingy Jack. Stingy Jack, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Val. I appreciate being on the show.
Well, Stingy Jack, I'm so glad you are here. Is it okay if I call you Stingy Jack?
It's all right if you call me Jack.
Just Jack?
Yes, just Jack will be just fine.
Excellent. Well, Jack, so for our listeners, children, adults, and the like, tend to do jack-o'-lanterns with pumpkins, carving faces into pumpkins and putting candles in them and that sort of thing. Well, the reason for the season for jack-o'-lantern season is Jack himself. Jack, do you want to tell everybody what happened and why jack-o'-lanterns have come to be?
Well, Val, thank you for giving me this opportunity to actually come and clear the air just a touch.
Oh, of course. Lots of entities like to come here and clear the air. For our listeners, you're not human?
Well, I rightly was human when I was alive, but now I'm a spirit, and it's actually I'm a bit of a egregore kind of spirit now because of jack-o'-lanterns being so popular every year. So I tend to be around a lot more during the Halloween season.
Oh, I see. So your spirit has kind of become connected to jack-o'-lanterns in general. So you are basically spirit of the jack-o'-lanterns?
That would be right, yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clear that up. Anyway, on with your story.
Yes, thank you, Val. So, back when I was alive and in Ireland, and I had a wee bit of a beef with the devil.
The devil?
Yes, the devil. And the devil and I, we had just an epic prank war going on. I wanted to buy him a drink, and but I didn't have the funds, so I asked the devil. I said, "Wouldn't it be fun if you turned yourself into a coin so I can buy some drinks at the pub?" And the devil was keen. He said, "Oh yes, that sounds like a right laugh." So the devil turned himself into a coin, and instead of buying a beer or two with the coin, I decided to put him in my pocket. And in my pocket, I had a silver cross. So the devil couldn't change himself back into the devil himself.
Oh, that sounds like such a nasty trick, Jack. So I could only imagine the devil was probably quite cross.
He was quite cross. And rightly so. He had a lot of work to do that night. It was Halloween after all. Anyway, I kept him in my pocket for a little while.
How long is a little while?
Oh, about a month.
A month? That's a long time to be in someone's pocket.
Yes, it was probably a little longer than I wanted, but I kind of forgot about him, to be honest.
You forgot about the devil being in your pocket.
Yes. Well, and, I had basically a tiger by the tail, because, I had the devil in my pocket and had to let him go at some point. And, nothing worse than having the devil pissed off at you,
Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, Jack, so what happened? I mean, you did release him, obviously, because the devil is no longer in your pocket.
Right. So, I told the devil that I would release him if I would not suffer any consequences from him. That he would not have my soul, that I wouldn't die, that I would be totally fine.
Ah, and how did that work out?
Oh, absolutely fine. So he didn't claim my soul. However, he said that I also wouldn't get into heaven. So I was relegated to wandering the darkness all alone with nothing but a turnip and a burning coal.
Oh, Jack, this sounds quite bleak. I'm sorry, listeners. I thought this was going to be kind of a jaunt, but it seems more of a slog, unfortunately.
I don't know, it's not so bad. Walking around in the darkness with a turnip with a face on it and burning coal. So it became pretty popular to stave off the devil with turnips and candles around this time of year.
Now, why this time of year?
I don't rightly know.
Perfect. Maybe because it's when root vegetables are in season, I would imagine.
I mean, that would make sense, I suppose. So anyway, turnips were used for the longest time for these lighted things to stave off the devil. If the devil comes around and he sees these turnip faces, he'll say, "Oh no, that's Jack, I can't touch him." Now, when the ancestors from Ireland came over to America, there weren't a lot of turnips for them to carve and put candles in. But America was just rotten with pumpkins. And pumpkins are actually much easier to carve because they're a little bit bigger and more hollow and easier to put candles in. So that is how jack-o'-lanterns came to be.
Fantastic. So jack-o'-lanterns, I feel, are more like, child-friendly and that sort of thing. We don't really think about the devil or, souls or wandering aimlessly with your soul and nothing but a turnip and a candle. Do you walk around and check out these jack-o'-lanterns?
Well, now, Val, every time a jack-o'-lantern is lit, it actually invokes my spirit.
Really? So every time that someone puts a candle in a jack-o'-lantern, there you are.
Yes, so I'm actually in many places all at once on Halloween. That's why my spirit just kind of is everywhere. And how it kind of became its own thing. I mean, I don't think I'm actually the ghost of Stingy Jack. I kind of just think of myself as the spirit of the jack-o'-lantern.
Well, that's quite lovely. Do you have any favorite designs on jack-o'-lanterns? Like, do you like a scary design? Do you like, realistic? Like, I've seen some crazy pumpkins with realistic pictures of people's faces and whatnot.
Oh, I like the ones that have just a couple of teeth, because it reminds me of home. I don't know if you know this, but back in ancient Ireland in like the 1600s, oral care was not really at the top of our list. Survival was mostly on the top of our list.
Oh, I see. So those pumpkins with just like the one or two teeth that, kids usually, put together.
Yes, yes. Very, very charming. Although I do love a good joke, and so those ones where people put scary things on pumpkins that aren't that scary, like a check engine light. I think that's pretty funny. I also enjoy animals on jack-o'-lanterns. I do love a good cat on a jack-o'-lantern. That's also a good one.
So you are just everywhere on Halloween then, and at
Oh, not just on Halloween. Because in recent years, it seems as though Halloween is celebrated on a lot of different days. Because you've got trunk or treat or block parties, and these things usually have jack-o'-lanterns as well. So I am around quite a bit in the month of October, and even sometimes a little bit in November. Especially if Halloween is on a Thursday, like it is today. I imagine I won't be gone until Monday, maybe at the latest.
So when you're not in jack-o'-lantern spirit form, where are you?
Kind of a purgatory of my own making. That's what you get for tricking the devil. It's fine, because I got my turnip.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that the turnip?
Oh yeah, this is the turnip that I put the coal in and carved a little face in.
Oh my goodness. You'd think it would be gone by now. I mean, that's from the 1600s, correct? In Ireland?
Quite right. And it basically, it's kind of the spiritual version of the original version. Val, you know as well as I do that the spirit world is kind of confusing and messy and doesn't rightly make sense sometimes.
So you just kind of wander purgatory with your little turnip then?
Yes. Although it's not as bad as it seems. I mean, it doesn't last very long, and and you also have weird people who celebrate Halloween year round, and sometimes they light jack-o'-lanterns and that sort of thing. Because it's not just pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns. If someone lights a jack-o'-lantern. It could be a plastic one, it could be a ceramic one, and it doesn't have to be a real candle. It could just be a light. So basically, if you have light inside of a hollowed out thing that resembles roughly a vegetable, I am there, and I inhabit the spirit of the thing.
Wow. So you're really not in purgatory all that much then, are you? Because Halloween is like a really big deal.
Tell me about it. I mean, I practically live in this house that you're in now.
Oh, yes, because of Allie's obsession with Halloween.
Yeah, have you seen the basement? I mean, it is all decked out in pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns and old Halloween decorations.
Oh, yes, yes. No, that's where I came from, was her basement.
Yeah, so I'm here quite a bit. And, I don't mind it. Weird taste in movies down there, I will say.
I know. I don't understand sometimes. It's just like, why won't you watch like a good film? Like maybe something that might have won an award or something. It's always bad films. Anyway, we are just getting way off topic.
Yes, so I'm not in purgatory all that often because it seems as though if you were a goth teenager in the 90s, your whole personality now is just Halloween, is what I gather. I cannot tell you how many times I'm summoned to every corner of America, essentially, to inhabit the spirit of a jack-o'-lantern in some spooky girl's basement. So, no offense to Allie, of course.
I don't think she takes any offense to that whatsoever. Anyway, well, Jack, this has been weird. But now let's get into some paranormal gossip. For tonight's paranormal gossip, I received a personal sad from a human. And normally human stuff doesn't really come on here that often. But this intrigues me because it seems to be highlighting a trend. I'll just go ahead and read the personal sad. Human female seeking dark fairy man. I am intrigued with being your plaything for as long as you need. Please take me to the fairy realm. I am in dire need of some punishment. That's it. There's an obsession lately with women being kidnapped by fairies in the fairy realm, and with all of that, I blame those, series of books with fairies in them and that sort of thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a fairy. I love the fairy realm. If I'm in a good headspace, I will go to the fairy realm. Because you got to be, you got to keep your head on a swivel. So let me just do a slight PSA here. Don't get caught by fairies if you're a human. I don't recommend it. It may seem like all fun and games and seem kind of sexy and scary and, all of that stuff. But fairies can be quite cruel, actually. And if you don't want to spend the rest of your life as some animated flower or as someone cursed with touching things and turning them into blades of grass or whatever, if you're not keen on ruining your life, maybe just stay away from the fairy realm. It just seems like popular culture today is just really leaning into the whole fairy realm thing, and I don't think they're depicting it the way it actually is. Now, like I said, I love a fairy, I love the fairy realm, but I'm a vampire, and I've been to hell, I've been to Atlantis, I've been to Saturn, and I can handle it. Humans, you are more fragile. So either if you want to, I can't stop you. But just be careful and, maybe take just a little bit of iron with you. Not the supplement, the actual metal. I'm not concerned about your liver. I'm concerned about your soul. Anyway, So yes. Jack, have you had a run-in with the Fae folk in Ireland?
Well, Val, I wouldn't be an old Irishman if I did not have a run-in with the Fae. Because, as a good Irishman, I always put out bread and milk for the Fae. Because I used to live out in the wilderness, out in the hills of Ireland, and I would pay homage to them because I would not want to cross them.
Right. And that's what you're supposed to do. But you said you did have a run-in. Was that like on purpose or?
Well, I had to save my friend David from Bay once. There was a fairy ring where we were fishing at a pond, and Dave was kind of being a jerk, and he was saying, "Oh, look at me, look at the fairies are gonna get me," and he was kind of doing it in a mocking tone. So I had to, I was about to tackle him to the ground, but he did make it into the fairy ring, and he was just kind of frozen. And I stood outside the fairy ring to see if anybody would come out to get him. And there was a fae that came scampering out, kind of didn't look like the ones with wings, more along the lines of like leprechaun folk, but more sprightly. Anyway, and I had to play my flute for him in exchange for my friend David, which actually I think this bloke gave me a break. Although I will say I did let the Fey folk fellow do one little thing to David as a joke. I told him, if he had a birthmark in the shape of a couple of lips on his collarbone just suddenly, might not please the missus back at home. Might have him row a bit, and that might be funny. So David went home with a brand new birthmark.
Wow. Yes, you don't want to mess with the fairy folk. If you have a bit of gossip, a misconnection, or a personal sad to share with the show, please email thevampiretalkshow@gmail.com or slide into my DMs on Twitter, Facebook, Insta, TikTok, or Threads. Jack, Stingy Jack, Spirit of the Jack-o'-lanterns, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you coming and giving us a little bit of Halloween background. Much appreciated.
Anytime, Val, anytime. I'm always in this house pretty much all the time anyway. So, if you ever want to hang out and, swap stories about, being in different planes of existence at one time, I'm keen.
Good to know, Jack. I will invoke you more often now that I know that you're basically living here with me. Boy, Allie, you're just collecting entities left and right. We have me, we have Ralph the clown, because he's still
Hilarious.
he's still back there, and now you have Jack of the Jack-o'-lantern. Wow, you're treating paranormal entities like Pokemon. Interesting. Anyway, that's all for the show tonight, kiddies. And remember, embrace the dark, the strange, and unusual. It just may embrace you back. Please consider becoming a Patreon member of the show. You can be a Baby Bat Sticker Club member where you get stickers every month, or you can be a Tarot Speakeasy member where you can get a tarot reading and tarot cards sent to you every month. Please subscribe on patreon.com/The Vampire Talk Show. This has been an Opus Nox Media production. To find out more, go to opusnoxmedia.com. Wow, Jack, this is riveting stuff. Yeah, I think so. We're just making things up as we go. I know that you have lots of stuff to do, and I know having a guest is hard. It is getting harder for me to find guests. What am I doing right now? I'm talking to myself. Val, I think there's maybe a bat too many in your belfry there. I would definitely agree at this point. Poor Allie's brain, I think, is just raw hamburger meat at this moment. Anyway, back on track, shall we?